you know, I think what I ended up doing was, I didn't completely like um left my schoolwork, but I put a lot of focus on the side projects too. Um, and that was a big risk because academics is important too in CS. But I would say that the things you do on the side are at least like 40% important too. Um, but that's my opinion though. I don't know. Other people might have other opinions that like schoolwork is like at least 80% more important. Um, but I think that opened up a lot of doors for me in terms of like connecting with other people. Um, like the internship I got at BMW was not actually me applying. It was just like them reaching out to me. Um, Me and my and other friend just because like I was really active in the community. So yeah, so as far as like chances and risk, I think that would be the biggest thing. Just like focusing more on my other stuff. I'm not saying like fail your classes or anything. That's also really important. But like compared to others, I put a lot more importance on my projects. Does that answer your question, Stephania? Or
Yes, it does. Thank you so much. Would any of you ladies like to answer the question?
Yeah, sure, I can answer. Um, I think for me, a, a, a thing that really scared me was interviews and anything career related. So I think every time I was able to put aside some of that fear and just apply for a job, ask for an interview, try to network with someone, it's always paid off. Not always in the sense that I always got the job, but it's always paid off in the sense that I got better at it and I got more confident in it. I went to a conference in my sophomore year where they had like a career fair, and I probably did 5 or 6 interviews in one day. And I can't tell you how much that helped my fear of interviews was just doing more of them because I could screw up a couple of them that day and it didn't matter because I had 6 interviews that day. And so that's like a good piece of advice is if something scares you, do it a lot if you have the time because it will get less scary as you do it for sure. And also conferences, ACM and ACMW both do conferences. So hopefully once this Corona thing is over, we'll send you guys to some conferences.
Yeah, hopefully. But yeah, conferences are great opportunities to network and
yeah,
practice
definitely.
your movies.
Oh,
Oh,
there's a question.
question. Yeah. Do you guys use Handshake for internships? How do you guys get internships?
Mm,
Uh,
I oh,
oh, Prince.
you go ahead, Rishi. Go
All right.
ahead.
So I look at Handshake and I see some internships, but almost every single time that I've gotten something is through networking and the people that I know. And the way I got people that I know is by attending conferences, by going to meetups in Chicago. When you go to these meetups like Chippy or Chai Hack Night, you're meeting up with actual people who work in industry. And if they've already seen your work, they're more likely to just be like, hey, do you want to just intern with us or see what's up, you know? And a lot of jobs that people get, a lot of like internship opportunities people get, they're not even like official opportunities. They're like created in a way.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree with Rishi. Like, the internship I got was also networking. So like as I was saying, like me being active in the community, in the Flutter community, um, and just like going to those Flutter meetups. Um, you know, the person there, I didn't even know like that person worked at BMW, but then he saw us and then he was like, are you guys interested in our, working as an intern? And then we were like, yeah, why not? So yeah, so I would say like, a lot of people have also said that like networking was like the biggest factor in getting their internship. So not really handshake for me. I don't know about like other people.
Oh, Prince, remember at a hackathon, like, do you, like the Ulta Beauty people, they
All
were
right.
basically like, we'd hire you guys.
Right, yeah, hackathons too. Like if you do good, if you like go and then you do good and then like a lot of the winners there like get like interviews there or like get like the recruiter's email or something for future opportunities. And the way you like get better at hackathons by going to more of them. So you know, just like just being active. I would say being active in the community, and like not necessarily like looking for like job opportunities, but just being like really, but being genuinely interested, and then people will see that genuine interest, and then you will also get better at what you do if you're genuinely interested.
I also have another point to add. When I worked with a startup as a software engineer, I actually emailed them. I saw their ad on Facebook and I emailed them, and that's how I got that opportunity. Obviously, I went through the interview and everything, but also cold emails sometimes work out for startups.
Yeah, that's true.
Startups are small companies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for those answers, guys. And another thing I'd like to mention is Handshake might not be the best for like jobs or internships relating to your field. Like if you want to look for specific CS internships or places where you could practice your skills. But if you're just looking for a job on campus for a couple of hours, like at the library or like at a desk somewhere, I think Handshake is pretty good for that. But
Yeah,
that's
that's true. That's true. Yeah, like I used like an ethics center job, I got it on Handshake. The library job, I got it
right.
on Handshake. Yeah.
Yeah, so Handshake is still a great place for you guys to look if you're just looking to make some quick bucks on your spare time. Also, yes, like network, meet people at these events for those internships that you're gonna put on your resume, right?
Mhm.
Awesome. Okay. Well, if no one else has any questions, I'll ask another question. So,
Oh,
actually, we do
somebody
have
has
a
a question.
question. Yes, awesome. So, tech is a very broad field. What part of tech are you guys interested in, and how did you find that field? Great question.
Mhm. It's a thing you can answer.
No, I'll let you.
Okay. Um,
So I can go first. I am really interested in parallel computing and distributed computing. And I'm going to be honest, I just decided that I was going to be interested in that and then learned about it. That's not how it works for everybody, but at least in my case, I wanted to. So CS at IIT allows you to do a specialization. And I think I can find the link in a bit and post it so you guys can see. But I looked through the list of specializations and I thought, machine learning, that's just so trendy. I don't really like machine learning. I'm not going to do that. And then I looked through the rest of them and they were all like that, except distributed and cloud computing. And I was like, I feel like that could work. Let's do that. Let's just try that. So I just asked what the classes were for that. And so that's how I even took the parallel computing class in the first place. So I think I would just say you can give yourself permission to not understand something and still be interested in it. So if you want to say to people like, oh, I'm interested in machine learning, and they're like, oh, what do you know about it? You don't have to know anything about it. You can just say that you're interested in, learn more about it, and then you can change your interests if you want. So yeah, that's how I reached distributed computing, and I love distributed computing now. So go ahead, someone else.
That's a good answer. Is it where you're gonna go?
No, I was just gonna say that was the answer too, and then
Yeah.
open the floor. But you can go, Prince.
I think I mentioned this like at the beginning. I'm interested in I'm really interested in like mobile dev and web dev stuff. Um, dev mostly since my freshman year. When I first came in, I guess I was really interested in machine learning. Me and my like friend Eric, um, because we were really interested in machine learning, and then we were like learning about it. But I was kind of intimidated by it. Because like it was so trendy, and like there was like articles about it everywhere, and like how to do this in machine learning, and I was like, oh my god, what is this thing? And then it was like, I don't know, it was just so fast. Like I didn't really understand it, and also like at that time I was kind of scared of math, so like I didn't want to get into that part of like computer science. So then I just started like doing like mobile dev stuff and web dev stuff. Um, and yeah, I just like it. The thing I like about that aspect is just like you could quickly make things and then get other people to use it, which for me I think is kind of like magical. Um, and that's what been driving me since. Um, yeah. Uzi.
That's a really good answer. Yeah. So one of the things that I noticed, like, so from your answer, Prince, we need to say to these kids, they need to get their math requirements out of the way as soon as you can.
Yeah.
Don't go into machine learning until you've done your math requirements, because you will not be able to appreciate it fully, and you'll be overwhelmed. How can you understand machine learning when it's built off of like probability and statistics, linear algebra? And if you're not able to do well in those classes, then you'll be if you're not able to do well, like not able to understand those data science techniques that are built off of those basic math principles, then it'll be like you can't go forward in it. That's why do the math. The math will be hard, but then the data science aspect will be easy.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know that my freshman year because like it was like everyone was doing it and like it was like so trendy and then like and then I was just like I went like, oh yeah, me too, I want to hop on this, but then I got scared and then I just left. Um, but that's why I'm going back into it like next year, in like class and taking like a bunch of machine learning classes. So
And
now that I got my math requirements,
I think you'll actually end up appreciating it, and you'll be interested in it because there's just so much you can do, but you're
yeah,
not going to be able to understand like basic methods in it if you don't have that like semester long linear algebra class.
yeah.
And that's sort of what happened to me. So I tried to dabble into like machine learning for a really, really long time, and it just never really stuck, and I just didn't get it. And then after I did like probability and stats and linear algebra, I took this class, data mining, with Professor Panchal, who's an amazing professor. I think one of the best professors on campus. The class is data mining. Try to take that as soon as you can. And that really cemented my interest in like data science, and that's why I'm here.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for those.
Oh, I'm doing machine learning.
And I love it. Awesome. Okay. So another question that I have for you
Nice.
is, did you guys, so in your classes that you took, did you find a lot of opportunities to work on projects, or would you find yourself maybe working on personal projects like outside of the classroom?
In the classes that we took,
Yeah, like where do you think, did you have a lot of opportunities to work on projects? Were they project based, or were they more like classic, like homework and stuff like that?
um, I mean, some of the classes had like pretty interesting projects. Um, like remember we received for a 351 class, we had to build up like the Malik lab
Oh,
thing.
that's my
So
favorite lab.
yeah, we had to build like a memory allocator thing. I thought that was pretty interesting. It was like the hardest thing I've ever done, but like it was interesting. I mean like all the projects that we do in class has to do with the class itself. So like, unless the class is like an interest to you, then you may not like it, but then you could like supplement that by like creating your own project that has to do with that class or like something else, and then like working on that project like a side project or something. But yeah, but some of the projects are interesting. If you're interested in like CS itself, a lot of the projects will really be interesting to you.
Does anyone else want to answer?
Oh yeah, so at a certain point, like I think from your junior year, you'll probably have all like a lot of your prerequisites for like basic things done, and then you can actually take grad classes in CS, and those are very heavily project based.
Right.
So one of the grad classes that I ended up taking was geospatial vision and visualization, and there were a lot of really cool projects in that class.
Yeah, that's true.
Prince, did you take biometrics?
Yeah, I took biometrics uh my senior year, so like last year. So yeah, we had like a pretty interesting project too, um, of like iris detection. So that was really cool.
One thing I will say about projects is you can do a lot of interesting things in your classes, but I don't think that you will be able to use them as like a portfolio or resume if you don't add something to them. So any project that I've done in class, I wouldn't feel comfortable showing off to a recruiter and saying, oh, I've done this cool project, because they'll say, was this an assignment? Like, this is clearly like something you did for an assignment. So I think that if you want to use a project that you've done in one of your classes, you'll need to add something to it to make it your own. So add some extra feature, build a website for it, or, you know, do something to it to show that like you engaged with the project on a different level from just completing assignments. But I'm
Yeah.
going to be honest, I haven't done a lot of side projects. I focused so much on other things. So not everybody does side projects, and that's okay too.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Okay, thank you guys for that. So one thing about the CS curriculum here at IIT that I absolutely love is that we have a lot of freedom in choosing our classes, right? We have like, we can pick and choose the order of how we take them, and we have a lot of free electives. So what are some of your favorite like CS classes that you've had so far that you've kind of used as, because I know we have like a million CS electives and you can pick and choose whichever ones you want. So not everyone will take the same classes. So are there any that you guys recommend, or maybe that you would not recommend?
Stephanie, what are some of your favorite CS classes?
Well,
Tiffany is the
actually, one of
moderator.
my favorite CS classes, I am, but you know what? Brins has been wanting me to answer a question, so I will answer a question. I recently took CS 442, which is Intro to App Development, and we made Android apps using Android Studio, which was, it's a little tedious and it's not my favorite to use, but it's really nice, you know, getting to know something or getting to do something that you've never done before. And it is all projects, like the whole class was just 5 big projects. So that was like a really nice change of pace from other more like theory heavy classes, like Intro to Algorithms. That was like a lot of math and algorithms and stuff like that. Well, this one is all projects and you're working on your apps constantly, and it's really fast paced, but I loved it.
Yeah, I took that class. It was a really good class.
Yeah, you stole mine. I really liked CS 422, which is data mining. I would recommend you wait to take that until after you've taken probability and statistics and linear algebra. But once you do take those classes, like Urushi said, you will really appreciate kind of the math and the theory behind data mining. And then we also got to work with some pretty cool technologies for that to like just dip our toes into the wide world of data science and machine learning.
Wait, actually, Avery, I have a question for you. I'm planning on taking data mining this upcoming semester along with probability and statistics. Do you recommend that I take them both together or just wait to take?
You can do them both at the same time. I had a friend who did the same thing. You'll be all right. It just makes it a little harder. But okay. I think we didn't dive into like the stuff that required prob and stats until later in the semester once you got like the foundation down. And you understand like basic probability, I'm sure, like rolling the dice.
I think you'll be more interested in the class because you'll see like actual applications.
It'll come together at the same time. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
yeah. For me, I guess my favorite class. Oh.
No, go ahead.
My favorite class was data mining, hands down. Best class ever. Best professor. And at the end, you do this final project, and it feels like a actual like thing actual problem you'd have at work as a data scientist, because you're like working through this just like completely raw data, unprocessed, and you have to figure out stuff about it. And it just felt so great to be like an investigator and get this amazing hands-on experience. There's also really other really cool classes like geospatial vision and visualization. I'm not sure if that's going to be taught anymore because I think the professor who was teaching that, he was also the director of engineering at Here Tech. And now he moved jobs to like something director at Amazon. So I don't know if he's moving out west for that. But yeah, that was one of the nicest classes. There's also Elevate experiences, which are like research/classes, and you get like a $5,000 stipend for that, or not stipend, scholarship with that. And I put the link on Elevate experiences in the chat, so you guys could check that out.
Cool.
But yeah.
So I also took data mining too. Um, but I didn't have a good experience with that class, like you all did. Because I took it like back to what we were saying, I took it like what, like freshman year or sophomore year, and like that was like before I took any of the math classes, and I was like so confused by everything that was going on. And then at a point I just like give up, and then like I just didn't care that much anymore. But I did poorly in the class as a result. Um, so yeah, so I will also strongly like encourage you if you guys want to take data mining, which is a really cool class. But if you want to take it, like if you're not too good at like project stats, or like what's the other one, linear algebra, take those classes first, so that like you have more of an appreciation of what's going on. Um, but a class I really did like is CS 445, object oriented programming and design. I thought that class was like really really cool because like um the main focus of the class was to like kind of get you um used to production level coding. So the coding that you do in classes is completely different from the coding that you will actually do in like real world, because like the coding in real world needs to be like maintainable and like the work done by many people. So what that class kind of gets you ready for that, and like makes you write like test cases for your code. It's also like project based. So I really appreciated that class because like it really got you like thinking like formally in terms of like formal code and like what you will actually be doing like in the real world.
Okay,
Is
thank
it
you for
easy
that.
to do minors?
Okay, we have another question. Is it easy to do minors with CS? So I'm entering as a minor in business in addition to CS and thinking about doing a specialization.
I can talk on the minor aspect. I think it is relatively easy. Just make sure you plan ahead. Anything can be done. You just have to plan. You have to go to your advisor, email them. Yeah, just email them and be like, I want to do this. How should I prepare for it? What requirements are there? And those are probably also online, and figure out when you're going to take those classes. But doing business with CS is actually really cool, and it'll also gear you up towards more entrepreneurial things. So I think that's pretty cool. Avery, maybe you could talk more about the specialization aspect.
Yeah, so the specialization thing is nice because you just essentially make your CS electives all fit a single theme. So since CS already gives you electives, you kill two birds with one stone. You're already going to take the classes anyway. You might as well have them work towards like the central goal. So all of my electives are about parallel computing and distributed computing, and then it just kind of works. But like Arushi said, you have to plan ahead, and then you're good. Matthew Bauer is the advisor for all you guys right now, freshmen, and he's really helpful. Just email him and ask your question, and he'll respond at a really weird time of day. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna reiterate what Avery said. Like, you guys are lucky to have Bauer as your advisor for at least the first 2 years. So he is super quick on it. Just send him an email and he will respond really quickly with what you need. So if you have any questions on anything, I think a good relationship with your advisor is great. Like when I have any question on classes or like changing my schedule last minute and making sure that it still works towards my degree, I just email my advisor and she helps me, she's always looking out for me. So I think having a good relationship with your advisor is a great thing to do if you want to do like minor specializations, things like that.
I agree. Yeah.
Often they'll if you start doing research, they'll change your advisor to the person you're doing research for, and that helps because then you already know the person, they already know what your goals are. That was really nice for me, is when they switched my advisor from someone I didn't know to my research professor.
I haven't. Oh, did somebody ask a question?
They're asking about math.
Right.
Are you gonna have to still take the calculus classes? Like, are you gonna take Calc 1, Calc 2? Oh, then you'll be fine. They'll tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah,
If you're
yeah.
gonna like try to skip all those, maybe it would be a problem, but yeah, they'll
Don't do any preparation before. That's a waste of time.
yeah, Calc 1's fine. It's not too bad.
Yeah. Usually in like the first 2 weeks of classes, they usually have like I think they have like a review of pre-calc.
Oh yeah,
So
something like that.
like yeah,
Yeah.
usually the classes usually like have they know that we haven't been doing anything.
That's
So
true.
like
And then, and, I mean, Calc 1 is one of those general ed classes, right, that everyone takes. So even if you find yourself struggling, like halfway through the semester, there's like a million resources out there for Calc 1. Like
yeah,
when I needed help in Calc 1, everyone is a tutor for Calc 1.
It's
So
true.
that's
yeah,
great.
that's true.
Just email
Almost everyone
me
at IIT is
yeah,
taking Calc.
everyone will be able to help you with like those classes. So just email anyone at ACM
Except the architecture students. They can't help you at all.
yeah,
Yeah,
anyone else will be able to.
everyone was
Oh,
a tutor. That was funny.
yeah, all your peers. Yeah, I would say one of the biggest things is if you're struggling on like any day, like even if it's in the beginning, tackle it then. Go to the ARC, bug your professors at office hours, bug your TAs, go get help. Don't wait and be like, oh, I'll get it eventually. Because if you're not getting it then you better catch up, or else you're going to be struggling to catch up to the point that you're supposed to catch up to.
Yeah, don't play that game.
It's a very
It,
dangerous game that all
It's
three
a
of you know.
very dangerous
It's a
game.
very, very dangerous game.
May or may not
it's
turn
like,
out well.
I won't
While
go to
you know.
class because I haven't caught up yet. And then you're like, oh, that's another day of class that I'm missing now to catch up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
You're
always
gonna find
okay.
yourself.
Yeah, it's always okay to just go to your professors and be like, honestly, I just haven't been able to figure out what's been going on. And they will sit down with you and catch you up on things. You know, sometimes it's like you think in your mind that it's worse than it is, and you just go talk to them and they're like, you know, it's okay. Like you're going to have to do some work, but you can catch up and it'll be fine. Right. But just do it with time. Don't email them the day before an exam and be like, oh my God, I don't know anything. They'll be like, you know what? I really wish I could help you, but I'm sorry, I can't. Because most of the time they're really, really nice and people just don't go talk to them. So when you go talk to them, you realize they're nice and not scary. So that's
Yeah. Most professors aren't aliens, right? Some
True.
of them are actually pretty nice humans, and like,
right.
like just like the rest of us,
Who
they have a
just want someone
family.
to talk to.
But if you're
Yeah.
not comfortable talking to a professor, there are lots of other resources. So we talked about the ARC already, but there's
Mm,
also TAs for the CS classes. Those can be a little uneven because they do let undergrads be TAs. So most of the TAs are awesome. There are a few that are a
mhm.
little weird and like maybe probably shouldn't be TAs, but I'm not talking about anybody in specific. That's just been my experience. But there's also like the
Shade.
Discord, right? It's really nice that we have the CS Discord now. That's full of former TAs and current TAs and professors. I don't actually know if there are that many professors on there, but you can always ask questions there. And
Wait,
ACW does like a tutoring program too. So there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Estefania, could you share the Discord or show them? Like, do you have Discord on your laptop?
Yeah, let me just
I think that would be useful to just do a little walkthrough and be like, hey, there's this amazing resource here.
I feel like
Do we send out the Discord link? Oh, sorry.
most of you guys should know about it. I think
yeah.
Bauer and Saley have been promoting it pretty heavily, but
Oh,
I'm not
I
sure.
think so too. Okay, so I'm so sorry. This is our CS at IIT Discord, right? And we have all these channels for all these main classes, like all the required classes we have. So you can just chat. We have all the CS organizations, you know, all these great resources where you can just ask questions and meet other people. I just joined the Slack or the Discord, but it's great. Yes, so if you guys have any more questions, drop them in the chat. Okay. So I actually have another question for you guys. When I started here at IIT, our first finals hit me pretty rough, right? So do you guys have any suggestions for our incoming freshmen on how to handle finals week?
Friends.
Okay.
Make friends in your classes before
Yeah.
finals, like preferably the first 2 weeks of class.
Yeah, the
If you
best way
know
to
people in
prepare.
your classes, you can do study groups, and that
Yeah,
helps
there we go.
a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Prince
best
had
way
a
to
whole
prepare for
startup
finals
idea
is like thinking.
related to study groups. Seek
Oh yeah,
now.
Prince. He started a company.
I mean, yeah, the study groups thing. I mean, with the what I'm working on right now too is also with study groups, but like, so if you mentioned if you know someone in your class, you can like do study groups, but like a lot of people don't know people in the classes. So like with the like what I'm making now, you could find people in your classes and then also like study with them virtually. So hopefully that would be kind of helpful for you guys. But like what I would say is like the best way to like prepare for finals week would be like to prepare in advance. So like go to class, don't play the like you're not gonna have a bad time in finals week if you're caught up on everything, right? But if you're not caught up on everything, yeah, you're gonna have like a really bad time. So like just don't like postpone things. Um Try to understand things that are going on in the class as you're going, and finals week would be like a breeze.
Right, yeah. And then another thing too that is really or is just different from high school and college, right, is that our like finals week is the last week of classes, but there are no classes during that week. So it's just exams. So they release the exam schedule like a month in advance. So you guys should also just make sure that none of your exams overlap because sometimes they do overlap and it's your responsibility to get them moved. So if like they schedule you for 3 exams in one day and you didn't say anything, then it's just tough luck. Like you have 3 exams in one day. So just make sure to pay attention to when your exams are and just be on top of it so you don't have 3 like 2 hour long exams in one day and your brain is fried.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
with
I've had that before.
yeah, not related to CS necessarily, but how good should the writing placement essay be to skip Com 101?
Mm,
That is, I
it's
do
a good
not know the
question.
answer to that.
I don't think it needs to be that good. I mean, you just need to show that you can argue like a point 4 or better. Yeah,
Someone
probably 4 or better. There you go. I don't
Yeah.
remember it being that hard. That was so long ago. Oh my gosh.
It was so long ago.
I
I think
don't
you
think
could
I
probably
worked very
just
hard
like
on it.
yeah, like just like the main like high school concept, introduction, like writing an argumentative essay, like introduction, and then like you give your point, then like a counterpoint, and like
The
maybe another.
person reading it can just be like, okay, instead of what, then you're fine, I think.
Yeah, yeah. It's not too hard.
I wouldn't worry about it, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, does anyone have any last minute questions? Because I think we're gonna just use the last 20 minutes of the meeting to kind of just get to meet each other, do some icebreakers, share what we've been doing during quarantine. So if you have
Mm.
any last minute questions for our panelists, make sure to drop them in the chat so they can answer them. Or if not, we'll just talk about quarantine. No, okay. Or the
Elliot, if there's no
panelists.
more questions, let's stop recording.
Okay, oh yes.
Or